Are we good?
Hold on, excuse me. May you put my card on the
Oh, sure.
Thank you so much.
Do you need help?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Okay, let's see if you could fit through here. Oh my gosh, yes! You did it! Woo, that was the one workout just to come in.
I'm so hungry. and stuff and stuff.
Okay.
No. No. Where's the stuff? Yes. Oh darn. Can't get in. I can't even reach. Crystal,
Yes?
can you help me out washing my own dish?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Hello, I'll be talking about the skills or training I would need to live independently as possible with this disability. I would need skills or training on how to properly maneuver the wheelchair. I had trouble ascending and descending from the ramps and basically having much more control when it came to descending down the ramp, because one, the momentum was too much for me to handle, especially when dealing with a steeper ramp. And if you could imagine there being people around campus per se, I would have to know how to brake in that instance so I won't cause any accidents. At the same time, that brings up the point of needing much better training on maneuvering not only around people but around objects as well, and how to properly align your wheelchair to meet the desire to move the way one would like to go. Another training I would need would be getting a personal trainer or like an athletic trainer to make me stronger, because for one, posture is very important. According to the book, it helps you relax your tone, get muscle tones, but also helps you with your breathing. The main thing I want, let's say a personal trainer, is for me to get stronger. So if I'm stronger, I can move my wheelchair with less effort. But more importantly, it helps me when it comes to transferring my weight from the wheelchair to a different place. Let's say the restroom or the bedroom, or any place that I don't need my wheelchair in, because like I have somewhere to sit at. So that's very important for me to have. Worst case scenario is that if I have trouble at a job, I will obviously need a job coach, so the coach could help me be successful at my job if I'm still having trouble. But that option is there if I need it. Next, I will comment about environmental hazards and lack of accessibility. For environmental hazards, the only thing that would stop me would be like a very steep ramp or hill. Obviously, if I don't have the proper training to stop myself, I will either A, cause an accident if there's a crowd of people when exiting the ramp, or 2, I will fall off my wheelchair because I brake too hard. So that's one potential environmental hazard I have to be cautious about. Mainly, my experience would be lack of accessibility. For example, if I wanted to reach a book on the top shelf and independently, I would need to have a certain item that will help me reach the book and grab the book for me. Obviously, I could ask for help, but there's got to be adaptations to make that happen. Another lack of accessibility that I encountered would be in going to the supermarket and going into a restaurant, because I noticed when I went inside the restrooms, there's not a ramp close to the toilet. Therefore, I can't do this independently. I would need that modifications or go to a different place to use the restroom. Lastly, the main lack of accessibility I had was at home, because I couldn't enter my door comfortably because I had to be precise on where I position my wheelchair and rolling in to my house. This leads to the last point. What kind of adaptations will I need to live at home independently? I will mostly need a lot of remodeling, because for one, the doors need to be wider for me to exit and enter from the living room, kitchen, bathroom, and even bedroom. Another remodeling would be for the shower. I would need one that preferably that I could move. I could pick up the shower head, and two, I could sit on a bench or a stool or any place. That way, I could bathe myself independently. Another remodeling would be having a ramp close to the restroom. That way, I could transfer myself from one place, from a wheelchair, to the restroom. And my last remodeling would be for the sink. I can't wash the dishes or use a sink for other activities if the cabinet is on the way. So obviously I would have to take out the cabinet and move it somewhere else. Any other possibilities, any other adaptations would probably be getting a different type of fridge and a stove as well, because the stove is too high. Even though it's by my head level, I kind of prefer like if it's by my chest, so that way I could know like, okay, what's going on with the food. And also I will need to use something like the aluminum foil on the previous video on getting cereal, or potentially getting something inside the freezer. So if I could get something smaller, a smaller fridge, then that'll definitely work out. Obviously, for the remodeling, since I live in a unit house, I would have to talk to the owner and ask if those things could be approved. So that's another story, but that's one of the situations I will have to encounter in making these remodelings come true.